All right, what is going on, everybody? We are back for the season 7 drafts. I'm excited to be back in the booth here for season 7. It's been a long time coming. We got a lot of build up. You guys can see the new hype video, the new graphics coming out on the screen here. A lot to be excited about for season 7, which is going to be our biggest season ever, officially confirmed. So I'm excited about that. I'm Rockerman, director and host for the night. I got some three lovely young fellas in the booth with me. First, we got Psychonautic. How's it doing over there, young man?
Young man, I'm doing fantastic, my friend. I am super stoked, super hyped. Had a long off season, ready to get back into the Nemesis action.
Oh yeah, it should be exciting. It's been a wait, but a lot of good things have been happening. Speed, and it's good to be back.
Oh, it's always great to be back. Being able to be here for any Nemesis event is always my favorite. My first league I ever joined, and I couldn't be any happier to be a part of this, and be alongside all these, handsome men that we have up here, and especially Psycho, my AGM, my play-by-play of the year for last season. If you didn't know that, so yeah, it's always great to be back alongside you guys.
Yeah, it's great to have you back, Speed. And we also got a new guy in the booth, a newbie in the booth here. Crispy's been working hard in the off season, getting some caster workshop in. Happy to have you here, Crispy.
Pretty good, Austin. It's been a wonderful experience to be with you guys. Last season I joined in halfway and I wasn't sure if I'd fit in, but you guys have welcomed me with open arms and I'm just glad to be here.
Well, yeah, it's great to have you. Good to have you here in the booth, and good to have everyone back here popping off. You already got a couple of resubs I want to thank before we get things going here. Shout out to Rogue for 14 months, Cram coming back with 8, and then Hydra with 9 months. So thank you guys for resubbing to Nemesis, much appreciated. And we do have one more thing before we get going with the Novice League draft here. We got to get to our recruitment raffle here in a second, so Squirrel transition to that here. We're gonna be doing a recruitment raffle. We got a wheel to spin. If you guys don't know what the recruitment raffle was, it was the off-season recruiting project. Basically, every person that was recruited and they referred you as your name that you got referred by, you get an entry on this wheel here. So you guys can see all the names. Those are people that helped out Nemesis by recruiting one player. Each player recruited added $1 to the prize pool. So we got 31 of those people listed down in $51 prize pool. So we're gonna spin the wheel once here, and then someone's gonna win $51. So it pays you to recruit, and every person that you recruited, you get one extra entry into the raffle as well. So that's why you'll see multiple people on there. I think Davi's on there a couple of times, Sands is on there a couple of times. So $51 up for grabs. Why don't we spin that wheel, Squirrel? Let's see who's walking home with 51 big ones for doing some recruiting action. Oh, and it's close. It's gonna go to BMAR 99 right on the edge there, recruiting. Oh my goodness, BMAR, it's taking it right out of the grasp there of Arrow. Close low there. Congratulations to BMAR. We'll get you that money there. Much love for recruiting the Nemesis. We appreciate the support. We appreciate everyone who donated to Nemesis and got things going. So congrats to BMAR. We will get you your money afterwards after the stream's over. So yeah, with that being said, guys, how about we kind of get things going, get it underway here.
Yeah, I'm ready to get this thing going. I know everybody out there watching is ready as well. Geez, been a three month, right? 3 month wait? Or am I getting that wrong?
About it's been was
Yeah.
it? I think it has been 3 months. Yeah,
I
because
don't mean to keep harping on it because we did like you said, we did a lot of work. We got a lot of stuff going. It's going to be the best season of Nemesis, but it was a long wait, and it's going to be well worth it.
yeah, I think so as well. There's a lot to get going. Yeah, the grand finals was about 3 months to this date ago for season 6, and now we're on to season 7, which I think is crazy. And we're gonna get things going here. With the Whelps, might as well dive right into things. So Whelps have the number one pick. We're gonna put the Whelps on the clock here for this one. And let me throw it to you, Speed, quickly here as we get things going. What are you looking for on the draft board, and do you have any insight on who the number one overall pick may be?
Honestly, I really don't know. They could go with anyone. Welp's having an empty roster here. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, though, to see one of those prospect drop downs, having higher level experience, dropping down into novice with the MMR change. I could really see them going for that type of player starting off their roster.
Definitely. So, Crispy, do you have any insight on who the number one overall pick may be?
Uh, Possibly one of my old teammates. I feel like well, they're in another league now, but uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Austin.
Well, we actually do have the pick in here. As you guys can see, 3 minutes per pick for this one. And you guys can see the pick timer will be on the top and the names will be updated as we go. And the first overall pick is in for the Whelps. They are going to go ahead and they are going to select Jeff Masters with their first overall pick. Who Psycho? That was a guy I know I was looking at him a little bit on my radar if he possibly fell, but a very solid pick up there for the Whelps number one.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few good things about Jeff Masters. Not only that he's a fantastic caster in the booth, but also that he's going to hit pretty hard in the Novice League. I'm pretty sure this is his first season with us, so I think it's his rookie season, but I'm expecting him to make some pretty big waves down there in Novice.
Yeah, it is his first season as a player, but he did help us out a little bit on the casting end last season. So it's good to have Jeff in there, and congrats to him on going number one overall to the Whelps, and that is going to put the pawns on the clock now here. All
And with
right,
the
and yeah, sorry, Psycho, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say with the pawns on the clock. Let's see the pawns. Trying to pull them up real quick. They've already got Swift at 1282, and looks like the pick came in, and I believe they're gonna go with Malo. So Malo going second overall. Congratulations to him. Gonna be a pawn along with Swift.
Nice. And Mallow actually has been working really hard behind the scenes. It's good to see him go there. That one actually is not a surprise to me. I knew that Mallow was going number two overall the pawns for a while. It's kind of leaked in their Discord. If anyone looked at it, that's where I heard it from. He had the role in the Discord. So Mallow, he's going number two there to the pawns. So congratulations to him. Been working hard on the website, like I've been saying, and that thing that's pretty exciting as well to get the website back up and running. I'm happy that that's going on, and good to see Mallow go number two to the pawns there.
Well, I would like for you to speak for yourself there, Robert, man. Um,
Sniped, pick snipe.
no, Bubbly and I are good friends. Bubbly was my first GM. We did some work this offseason in trades as he came back as a GM, and he may have sniped my pick. He may have done it, and I don't know how I feel about that. He may have to send me a kiss my way or something to make up for that.
There you go. Well, I don't know if Bubbly's gonna do that, but you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. And Mallow, yeah, that one on the roster, like Psycho said, Swift and Mallow there, 1282 and 1235 for Mallow, and that's gonna put the Wisps now on the clock here with a new GM here, and this one, Crispy, with Jarhead coming as a new GM for the Graveyard Shift org.
I don't personally know Jarhead. Uh, from what I heard, he is a pretty good person. So who knows? That's all you really need in a GM, just good organization and being good with your players. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, he does seem like a good guy. He's got a lot of GMing experience actually. When we were talking to him when he's interviewing, he's got some experience, and he's got his pick in for the Wisps. They're going to go ahead and select N7 Sub Zero. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if anyone knows anything about Sub Zero. I've seen him in the Discord, but I haven't seen him play. So maybe someone else can speak onto his skill and abilities.
I wish I could, but I'm unfamiliar with Sub Zero as well, so I don't know too much about him.
And unfortunately, I also am unfamiliar with him. But I was in Novice League last season, and I don't remember him being a big name. Rather, not to say that he wasn't there, but I don't remember him really shaking things up down in Novice. So, unfortunately, I don't know much about him either. But hopefully, going third overall in season 7, hopefully he's going to be able to live up to that third first round pick.
True. It does have a little bit of pressure there. I will say the one good thing about this season, we got a lot of new players coming into this one, and it's going to be interesting to see a lot of these new players going in because of how big this season is. Um, as it looks like the Spitfires are in selecting Brittany the Blade coming in at number 4, but that's a returning player, but it's going to be interesting here to see. I know Crispy, you were kind of new last season, but what do you think it means to have all these new players in and what it could possibly mean for, the leagues, especially Novice and the other ones?
It's a pretty good feeling. Just to have new people to play with. Once you play with so many people, it it feels repetitive. You know how they play. It can get a little dull. So all these new people coming in, it's just wonderful. It's astounding.
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy growth in the off season. Part of the long off season, as you guys can see with some of our revamped overlays, we've been trying to do that as well, and a lot of hard work. It also, like we saw in the recruitment raffle, like there's 31 people that were recruited there. That doesn't go to show the whole. Those are only people that wrote down a name that they got referred by. So there's been a lot of recruiting in the off season there, and it's good to have all these new players in, and we're gonna see a lot of new names, I'm sure, as we go, especially novice league. You can only have so many novices for so long, right, Psycho? You gotta move on eventually, right?
Yeah. Yes, of course. And that's toxic, Rocker man.
I'm
That's
saying it's a good thing. It's a good thing. You moved
no,
on. You're
no,
out of
no,
out of
I
novice into
know.
prospect.
Finally, well, I guess 3 seasons since I didn't play in season 5, but I was still novice in season 5 essentially. So yeah, pretty much 4 seasons. It does feel good to be back in the prospect now that you've stopped keeping me out of prospect, because I
Yeah.
know that you set those boundaries on purpose, Rocker man.
Mm. I cannot confirm nor deny. Can't say for certain. Can't say for certain, but yeah, no, the boundaries did shake up quite a bit. That's another interesting thing. Their speed is the boundaries, like they have shifted quite a bit. There are a lot of people that have moved up in MMR, but didn't even move leagues because of how much things have shifted.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I wasn't thinking it was going to change that much, and I thought for sure that Psycho was going to be a part of the Gladiators, and the night before the release, I get a message from Psycho, and he goes, "Dude, I don't know." He goes, "I might have to grind and resubmit MMR," and I was like, "What do you mean? Aren't you like a 1260 or 1270 or whatever?" And he goes, "Yeah, I was told I need to be close to 1300, if not a little over." And I'm sitting there going, "Well, I didn't repeak after last season, so I'm still sitting at a 1306 myself." So I was like, I definitely don't want to get dropped back down at a 1306 into novice. So the MMRs really changed a lot of things. For all leagues, you have drop down players who played really well in the league above and are now in a league below, and it just gives them, I feel like, almost so much more of an advantage, having that experience of playing in a higher league, and now all of a sudden you got dropped down a league and you played well in the league above before. So that's definitely going to shake some things up this season.
Yeah, definitely will. And the next pick is in. You guys can see it on the board. Icarus is going to the Crows, which is a new, I guess, a newly named team, formerly the Wildcats org, formerly the Lynx. And that's another exciting thing here. Crispy, is that we brought back a couple of teams. Last season, Novice only had 12 teams, and now we're gonna have we're gonna have 16 teams and a lot more competitive nature. And Icarus going to the Crows.
Yeah, I feel like just going through the season, we just kept playing the same teams over and over. But uh, great that we have a lot more people now, a lot more leagues, a lot more novice people. Crows, I don't even remember Lynx last season.
It's
Um,
good. They're an expansion team, so they weren't in last season, but they're coming back and renamed formally.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so they're gonna be back here. It's good to have Boy Wonder, new GM there for the Atrium org, newly renamed. And congrats to Icarus there. Icarus was one of the guys I was looking at. I will say, he was one of the guys I wanted to try to snipe, but he fell down a little bit. He didn't fall down far enough for me. So congrats to him going to the Crows. And
Yeah,
Speed
I
and
thought he was
Psycho.
going to fall down a little further. As you know, we did just make our pick, coming in at number 6. Psycho and I over here for the Ninjas, we decided to go with Muffin Dealer. as we're sitting at the 6th pick. We're sitting here. We had 3 guys lined up. Okay, three. All 3 of them got picked in the first 6 picks that we were really looking at. So, and quick DM in here over on the side, hitting up my ninjas team, seeing what they want to go with. Muffin Dealer, and I like that pick. I played Muffin Dealer. He is one of those drop down players that I did just mention about. Played against him several times now, and he's a great player, and I think he will do very well down here in the Novice League. And I think he will do very well with the roster that we have and for the roster that we continue to plan to have throughout the rest of this draft.
Yeah, and that's one of those players there that's actually been in Nemesis. I want to say since season 1. I could be wrong about that. He's been. I know, Sika, you've been around for a while in Nemesis since pretty much the beginning. You recognize this name, right? Muffin Dealer from way back, huh?
Yeah, of course. He was originally prospect. Shoot, I feel like season 1, but if not, definitely season 2. He's a solid pick. He's a solid player. I think in Novice he's gonna be. I think he has the potential to be the best, if not definitely top 3. I haven't kept up with the dude. I don't necessarily talk to him, so I don't know. He could have not played the game at all in the entire offseason, in which case I'm gonna have to knock off a little rust. But hey, I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, definitely so. And taking a look at their roster, what do you guys have their speed? What's going on? What's going on with the ninjas here?
So
Looks like you got 3 now.
Yep, we got returning Outcast, captain from last season. Was named in the top 15 novice players of last season. We got Penguin, who was also a returning member. We picked up halfway through the season last season. He is a grandfathered 1K, but he doesn't play like he's below 1K. He definitely deserves higher than that. And they work really good together. And then Muffin Dealer, I think, is a good round out there. So, you know, we still got one more player to look at here. We got 1167 cap room, and we're definitely going to come in hot, and we're going to make people definitely have a run for their money to try to take this chip away from us.
All right, we'll have to see. And Spitfires, you guys can see the pick came in while we were talking as well. They have gone ahead and select Paranoid Monk, who I saw North saying in the chat he's looking for another redemption arc. Paranoid Monk was on Frost, I believe, got dropped, and now is on. Now is going to be on the Spitfires, the defending champions there, coming in with their pick with the newly revamped logos, and that's another thing that you guys can see on the screen is these newly revamped logos. So Paranoid Monk is going there, and I think Acceleration has just made their pick, and they are going to select DBN for their pick. So yeah, what do you think about those 2 picks?
Well, again, Ninja's getting sniped.
The sigh of a snipe just coming right at you there.
I thought I was picking some sleeper picks here with some of the choices that we were going with, and Monk was gonna be our next choice. We had talked to him, and he was looking forward to possibly coming towards us. I did let him know that we were looking at him if he was available when he came around. We were gonna grab him, so I like that choice a lot there. I think obviously over there with Jorbage and Brinley. Brinley, another guy that we were looking at earlier as well. So I think that is a pretty solid lineup going over there, but they're not leaving themselves much room for a last player with only 1064. But, we've seen that happening for a lot of teams being able to make that work.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people do go high and low on the board, try to get someone at the sub floor. And something else that's interesting too, is that we raised the minimum MMR to 1,000, and anyone that was below 1,000 got grandfathered in at 1,000 MMR. So kind of bumped up the floor a little bit. There's a lot of players at that 1,000 MMR range. Crispy, you're also included in that, I believe, down there at 1,000. Got the good value right there, huh?
Oh yeah, just it's all an investment. That's all it is.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. And it looks like Genesis now on the clock, so I'm waiting to hear back from my captain. We do have some options here. We'll have to see. Waiting to hear back. Got Flight Knight and Humdinger returning here. And we'll have to see what we're gonna do here. 2369. There were a couple people on my list there that we were looking at. So we have to see what we're looking at in this one. So
I'm interested to see what
forgive
Flight
me.
Night wants to do. Back in season 5, played with Flight Night on the Pawns. You know, he's a great player. He's a great captain. I believe he's your captain. This season he was your captain. Last season as well, right, Rockerman?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he's a great man. Great person to have to lead a team. And whatever choice he makes, I know he's going to make the right one that's going to fit him in Humdinger's play style. So
You know, personally, I thought that even though Genesis didn't have the best season in season 6, I thought that the lineup that they had with Threat on it was a really really strong lineup. And whenever Ninjas played against Genesis, I had a respectable amount of fear for them, even though, like I said, they didn't have a super strong season. I was personally hoping to see them run it back during season 7 and see if they could get a better outcome, because I know that they had the potential to be super strong. But I don't know, Rocker Man, if you can maybe shed a little light on what happened there with Thread, if he just had some personal issues or what the deal.
Yeah, no, I think Threat's a great guy and definitely someone that I definitely would recommend to some teams. He wasn't as active as I wanted last season. I expect a lot of activity out of my players to practice and make sure we're showing up to games. And I think he had some stuff going on that I think is kind of cleared up. But we just wanted to switch it up a little bit. Sometimes when you have a bad season, it's not really anyone's fault. It just maybe the players didn't mesh like everyone wanted. So sometimes you just got to switch things up a little bit, and we decided to move a different way. But I still think he's a really solid player. 1253 MMR as well. So definitely someone that I um, expect to go on the board here. I would say.
yeah,
Speaking of oh, sorry, go ahead, Speed.
no, you're good. I was just gonna say, yeah, I definitely expect, if I'd be really surprised if he doesn't honestly get picked up by the end of this first round. If not, he's going to be a very early, probably top 3 second round pick, for sure. Threat, he does have his lows sometimes with being active, but for the most part, he's an active guy. He tries his hardest, and he's a great player. So I would definitely be surprised if he doesn't get picked up here soon.
It looks like the next picks are in. Ignite already on the clock, and they are going to go ahead and select BM Sus, who I recognize from the league. That's awfully close to B Matt. So I think there's something going on there, maybe. Perhaps. Could be wrong though, but
Does Matt
um,
have a brother that we don't know about?
I don't know. I don't know.
Matt got a brother coming into the league?
We might
Matt,
need some
we
insight.
need some info here. Who is this?
But the big question is it the big brother or little brother?
Not too. Not too. We'll find out, I guess. As BM Sus is the pick there, and Aurora is going to go on the clock. And I got a couple of subscribers to thank. Shout out to Rob Espo, one of our top gifters. They're coming back for 11 months. Crippus was 16. Rob Espo, of course, he's gifting one to Bubbly Reaper. Jorbridge for 3 months, and Crispy, thank you for 3 months as well, my guy. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Excellent. And we got an update. I got 2 updates for you guys.
Okay.
Actually, Bubbly sent me a kiss. He did respond. He
Ooh.
sent me a kiss.
There we go.
And he said he was sorry. And Matt said, not a brother, just an IRL friend.
Oh,
So we got 2 updates here about those situations that happened.
all right. Well, interesting. Very, very interesting. And it looks like the next picks are in as well. And Sky Newbie is going to go off the board here at what is this, number 12 to Aurora. Sky Newbie making his return here back in the Novice League. One of those good players, Psycho, that I'm sure you played against him a little bit there in the Novice League. Coming in here down at number 11.
Yeah, not only played against multiple times, but also played with season 4. I was on Ignite with him. We had a terrible season, but I had a lot of fun playing with him. When he's playing, he's really good. He's mechanical, he's solid, he's fast. But I know he kind of dipped off of playing the game for a little while. Whenever he came back, he was a little bit rusty. So I'm glad to see him back in the draft. Glad to see him get drafted, and I'm looking forward to seeing his performance. I think we're going to see a little bit different Sky Newbie than we've seen in the past.
We'll have to see. I know he's been back and grinding. I know he's trying to get some games, and I have seen him. I think was he at the combine? I can't recall if he was at the combine or not.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was there either.
I think he was, at least for a
Okay.
little bit. I don't know. I some of the novice players had to drop out. Didn't we lose some teams for that or something throughout as it went? Or was that with the prospect? I don't know. There was
Oh,
so much going on. It
yeah.
was hard to take in, honestly, a little bit.
Yeah, there was some prospect teams that combined. Yeah, there was a lot moving along with the combine, but there were a lot of people that got their names out, which is always good to see. And the next pick is in, and the Gorgons, a newly rebranded org as well, formerly, I'm blanking on the name. This formerly was the Hounds. That org there
Yes.
Has now changed a little bit to the Pantheon. So Gorgons making their pick to go with Seedbend. They're going to select Pengi or Penji. Probably Pengi there. He is a little penguin, so I'm assuming it's Pengi for the Gorgons.
I personally, I hate to speak up and not know anything, but I don't know anything. I haven't seen this person. But you know what I have noticed? There has been a recent influx of penguins that seem to be joining in Novice League.
Is there? Oh, Fly Penguin. Fly Penguin. He's on the ninjas, right?
And I swear there's another one, and I can't think of his name right now.
Penguin _4AS.
I'm telling you, the penguins are taking over.
It's got something going on there. That is a little bit suspicious. A little bit suspicious. All the penguins hopping in here.
Maybe that's what we should have done. We should have gone an all penguin team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we would have had to kick Outcast out, and
yeah, I couldn't do that.
Not. Nah, he's a great captain.
He is indeed a great captain. So can't do that. Never mind. I'm sorry for all you Penguin fans out there. If I just kind of teased you a little bit.
That does remind me of last season. I think it was last season, or maybe it was 2 seasons ago, when Dan tried to select all the people with like the snow names. It is names. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I think it was season 5, not season 6. Yeah, and it did not work out.
It was my first season. It was my first season, and I was like, "What is this guy doing?" And now Dan's one of my closest friends from Nemesis. So whatever he did, it kind of worked. So.
No, he did a lot of changes to that roster, and he made a lot of good changes because he ended up winning the Novice Championship with it. But the original drafted team didn't work out. If my memory is not completely obliterated.
Yeah, that's true. There were quite a few changes in that one. As the next pick is on the clock as well, Squirrel, the GM now officially taking over as a GM for the Fruit Ninjas. He's going to go ahead and pick Spock, otherwise known as Chops, backwards. It's a little bit of a tongue twister there. Was one of the top 15 players. I know we were counting down the top 15 players for season 6. He was on that list for Novice. He's going to the Kiwis.
And Chops is a solid pick in my opinion. He's got what it takes. If you surround him with bad teammates, then unfortunately I haven't seen him been able to step up and shine and carry a team on his back. But if he has competent teammates around him, he's a really solid player. He's got good rotations. He gets good touches, and he's patient. I enjoyed playing against him personally on Acceleration last season. I thought he's a really solid player. So it's good to see that the Kiwis are going to try him out this season.
Kiwis there. That's going to be the third player on their roster. They already have Louis returning, and they have OD Melt, who also returning at 11.99. So it gives them 10.55 to work with. So we'll see what Squirrel and the boys have cooking up there. But yeah, that is also going to give us our next pick there. You guys can see Flying High, who's coming back there. He's going to the Vikings. He's been around the block. See him as a season 2 champion there. Coming back to the Vikings now, who are making their return, which is exciting to see. I know, again, Psycho, you were in that org for a long time there in the Victory org. It's good to see the Vikings coming back.
Yeah, I fully agree. Season 1, 2, and 3, Victory org was my home. I was actually the first captain of the Vikings. I did not do a great job. I think we made it to playoffs, so maybe I should give myself a little bit more credit. But we didn't get as deep as I thought I was going to get. But Grav, that was actually his his beginning season here in Nemesis, I drafted him to the Vikings, and now he's the standing GM. So and Chally champion. So that's I trust in his pick. As you said, Flying High is actually making a return to the Vikings. I'm pretty sure he's played on there before. I can't remember exactly what season, but happy to see that. Happy to see an OG player go to an OG org.
True. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Gonna be exciting to see for sure. As now we have on the clock is Frost. They got a little bit of time left, about a minute 30, so they're taking their time there. So you mentioned one of those orgs who's competed. I think was a back-to-back seasons where they've been in the grand finals. I know they got taken down last season to the Spitfires. So that's why they're picking at 15 instead of 16. But Dan has always been a man to make moves there, Crispy.
Oh, he he makes moves.
He does.
He does make moves.
That is very true. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what kind of moves Dan's going to make out here. I know Speed. What are you thinking? What are you thinking Dan's going to do here with his roster as he's trying to get back to the championship for the third straight season?
You know, Dan and I usually, yeah, we share a little insight usually with each
Hmm,
other.
okay.
Come draft, we're that close, and we're not afraid of telling each other who we're looking into. That way, we're not trying to step on anyone's toes there. But he really didn't know, and I don't know if you noticed, but he posted in Novice chat. It was either late last night or this morning, and he was like, "All right, who should I draft? Who wants to come to Frost?" Like he truly didn't know. But it looks like he did make a good choice here. His pick is in, and Frost did decide to go with Angel. Angel is a returning player to Nemesis. Actually started on my Gladiators team last season, and did end up making a trade and sent Angel to another org, but deciding to step away from Rocket League for a little bit, and has now found her way back into Nemesis, which is always great to see.
True, true. That is great to see. Formerly known as Ragnarok or Ragnar, if anyone is familiar, and changing the name to Angel, which is cool to see. Congratulations to them on getting on to Frost at 15. So yeah, we do have a couple more rounds to go for all you in the chat. I know there's a lot of people anxious, wanting to get onto a team here. I know a lot of people are excited about that. So there are 3 more rounds after this. We do 4 rounds until all the teams are full, or until they can't draft anymore, essentially. So yeah, we're on round number 1, but we'll be switching to round 2 in a second here, as we're waiting on the Spitfires to close things out here with their final pick, actually, of the draft here at number 16. They got 1064 to work with here. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and select Lucky with their pick. Coming in on another new player here. I know we may not have all the insight on all the new players, but it's good to see some more new players going off the draft. It's always exciting here. I love seeing some new players going off, and especially here in the first round, there are a lot of returning players, but a couple of new players that come back.
Now, if this is the same Lucky I usually play with, he's a pretty good teammate. He's pretty good player as well. Just glad to see him in the league with Penguin and I. We all came from a different server, and it's just amazing to be here.
Yeah, that's good to, like I said, good to have you here, and it's good to see some new players go off the board. So that's round number 1 here. We're gonna transition in just a second. You guys can take it all in there. Congratulations to everyone who got selected in round 1. We're gonna move on to round 2 in just a moment here. So get excited for that, because now I think Psycho. I think we kind of get the first round out of the way. It kind of a lot of the the well-known names, the people that stood out in tryouts, and maybe some returning players. But once it kind of gets down to I looks like I got the dog in the background, so we gotta throw it to speed. But once it kind of gets down to the second round, this is starts where people start finding these gems, these kind of or diamonds in the rough, if you will.
Yeah, I fully agree. And honestly, I'm pretty surprised with the first round of picks. Maybe it's just because I'm super bad at drafting and cannot predict anything that anybody's going to do. Hence why I try to stay out of the way when it comes to drafting. But I saw some names that I expected to go Not necessarily in the order I was expecting them to go, but I've seen a lot of names in the first round that I didn't expect to go in the first round, which is super exciting and also for me super confusing. So I'm looking at the second round like, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen here.
That's true. We really a lot of times it can get a little bit wild once you start going down the list. As the next pick is in for the Whelps, they're going to go ahead and select Grebsy, who I do recognize his name probably because they're a donor. I don't know how much they've played in the league before, but I do recognize the name there. As Grebsy is going to go the first pick of the second round.
Grebsy, I don't remember seeing Grebsy too much from last season. I don't remember watching him and seeing him play too much. But I do remember playing him from season 5, and he's a great player. I think he's great. I think that him over there with Jeff isn't a bad option either. Gives them 2 players right there, and they still all rate around mid MMRs. They still got 2200 MMR to work with, so they can still potentially get another low 1200 and then a bottom tier player if that's what they choose to do so. So they're putting themselves in a decent position right now to round out their roster.
So, and next pick is in as we continue on. I actually really like this pick coming in from the Crows. They're going to go ahead and select Isa Chad, who I saw in tryouts and the combines, and that man looked really good. He was on my list there. He was definitely on my list for sure. If it got to it, he was one of those guys that was right up there. So, congratulations to Isa Chad, a new player, and I give that draft pick a thumbs up there for Boy Wonder there in the Crows. Is they're gonna have Icarus and Isa Chad on the roster to start things off. So looking pretty solid. A pretty solid start there for them.
Seems like a pretty good draft so far, Austin.
Yeah, it does. It does look like a pretty solid draft. That's always good for a new GM. The draft is so important, and gotta make sure you get the right guys. As Genesis is on the clock, so now I got to do a little bit of digging and make sure
Uh-oh.
see who we're gonna pick up here. So I don't know what you guys can debate on who I might end up getting here. Is I think Ma's gonna switch Isaac Chad to Crows, not Genesis.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of hard to tell how much room you got left because you're negative.
There we go. They
there we
fixed
go.
it.
1080. You don't got a lot of room to work with here, my man.
I can see going with a known name from last season. So I think we're looking at a Z Verns or even a Crispy.
I think we're looking at a Z Verns.
I don't know.
There's no way he'd put Crispy on. Crispy can't get drafted because he's in the booth right now. That's cringe, right?
Hey, he did subscribe, so I mean.
Oh snap! He did.
I think
Yeah, we give him a pass.
Give him a pass.
All right, go ahead and get him, Austin.
I'm actually, as much as I love Crispy here, we actually had our eyes on someone, and this actually worked out. This draft almost worked out perfectly from our tryouts and our scouting. Genesis, we're going to go ahead and we're selecting Crim Reaper down at 1036. A very active player, definitely overvalued or undervalued, excuse me. He's definitely a lot better than his MMR shows, in my opinion. So Crim Reaper's coming over to Genesis. He's active. He's been streaming, supporting the combines as well. So shout out to him, and he's coming to Genesis there.
And I second your opinion, Austin, that he's an undervalued player. He's definitely worth more than his MMR. He came to the Ninjas tryouts, and I was impressed. I thought he was a solid player, especially for a 1025. A good round off pick, somebody that, like you said, he seemed like he had a lot of energy. Seemed like he was ready to go. He was eager to learn. So that's a great way to round off your roster. You can have somebody that is going to grow in the league.
Yeah, definitely so. And yeah, I'm happy to get a new player on the roster as well. Always, like I said, I always love seeing the new players end up on rosters here. So happy to have him here, and we'll see how it goes for Genesis this season. I'm liking the draft that we ended up working with here. So pretty solid.
Should be a good
Uh,
season and all.
Definitely so. And the next pick actually is in. The Wisps are going ahead here. They're also a team that's coming back. They went with NZ or N7, excuse me, N7 Sub Zero before, and now they're going to go ahead and take Cow Tarded, who's making his return. He's got a message for everyone: don't click links. So I respect that. Don't click links from any suspicious people or even people that you know. You can never be too careful.
And don't accidentally click the links while you're trying to delete the links either. That's
That's
important, children.
Rogue.
That's true. That's true, Rogue. Take notes. We gotta be careful. But all jokes aside, Count Tarded is going to the Wisps here. I know people remember the Wisps mostly for their 0-18 season, but maybe they can start some new history here in season 7.
And I think that might be something good there. Having picked up Cowtarded is, yes, they are known from their last season being 0-18. But picking up Cowtarded, who is a prospect drop down player, again, might have a little bit of an advantage here to help propel them, especially at the start of the season, to get off hot and keep something rolling. So that's definitely not a bad pickup there by Jarhead.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Jarhead can do here. Yeah, that expansion org, they get the first couple picks in each round there. He's done a little bit of, we've done a little bit of trading. Actually, I think there were some trades that happened in past seasons. Actually, I'm looking on here, and I don't think the Wisps have any more picks. I think that was their last pick. I think they had traded them all away somehow. So he only has he only has 2 picks in this draft, which is kind of a little bit I don't know what to say, but that's a little bit surprising. Do not know what to make of it, but I assume then he's probably going to be picking some people up from free agency right after the draft there to fill up the last 2 spots on his roster. So we'll have to see as the next pick is in. The Vikings are coming back here. Another pick for them. They're going to select Don S. Julio with their next pick, and that I think is going to be their second man on the roster to go with flying high there.
And I don't know Don S. Julio, but I already like him. That is a fantastic name, and I can't wait to see him on the pitch because I'm just gonna want to scream. Don S. Julio! It's man, that's such a good name.
It's a great name. I like that name. I respect it.
Are you wishing you're back in Novice this year, Psycho?
No, absolutely not. But I will.
You can play against him and be like, "Don S. Julio!"
I look forward to him coming up to Prospect next season, though, so I can scream at him awkwardly.
You could just scream at it while you're casting his name. I think that's more what you're going for.
That is what I was going for, but I like yelling at people in matches too. You know, they can't hear me, but
yeah, that's true. They won't be able to hear you. I respect that. I respect that. It's a good name there. Going over to the Vikings with his pick, and I'm gonna put Aurora on the clock now on this one. As Critter and the boys over there got Ultimus Rule and Sky Newbie there, and 23-26 to work with. Still a lot of solid draftees on the board here.
A bunch of options.
Who are you looking at here, Crispy, as kind of the top options? If you were drafting on this list here, if you were still making some selections, who do you think some of the top options that are still on the board are?
Yes. No. Honestly, I feel like Cowtarded, he could have been way higher, at least top 10. Other than that, I feel like everybody else is kind of equal, seeing as Cal was a prospect dropped down to novice. Plus, we play with them a lot. Psycho and I, we do a bunch of customs here and there. Just odd to see him so low on the draft board, Austin.
It is a little bit odd there, but he does get selected on the list there. So congratulations to him. And yeah, I'm curious, Speed, do you have anyone on the list that's still up there on the draftee list that you might be looking for? I know obviously you can't say too much. I think your roster's full.
I got a pick coming up. No, I got one more pick coming up,
okay.
and it's
don't say anything.
a couple. But I think if I was looking right now, I would say peanut butter.
Jelly time.
Because we're 3 picks away and we can't give away anything right now. I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. There are a lot of people that I saw through tryouts, and I know from previous seasons still that are very good, valuable options left on this board, and some of them I feel like are even better than, what their MMR places them at. So it just makes them that even more valuable.
Well, I guess I'll have to do the honors then. Speed and Psycho. I know. Maybe you guys won't like me doing the honors, but I'll shout out some people on here that I recognize at least. At least I saw some people in the tryouts there. At the top of the board, we have C underscore Wink at 1274. He's still the highest. I saw One Pop Shop was in a couple of the combines. I think Your Boy Blue showed up to our tryouts. I recognize on the list. Mr. Marino was in the combine. Nitrous Oxide's a returning player. Uh, Bonfire Race was in there as well. Mr. Silent, who is one of the people I was going to draft there at 1172. If it came into it, he is insane there for 1172. Chunk Light also on there, I recognize. There are still a lot of people on there that we're going to see who's going to go off the board, as we didn't mention. Aquas is off the board to Aurora there, and the Frost have come in with their pick as well, and they are going to select Rooney with their pick.
Hey, Rooney's a good pick. Rooney came to the novice tryouts, and we had actually a really good turnout in the Ninjas tryouts. We had about 12 people show out, 12 or 13 people show out. And so we split it into two lobbies, and Rooney was in the lobby that I was watching. And I would argue that because Icarus was in there with him too, him and Icarus were really solid duo, and Rooney was pulling off some stuff that makes me think that he's going to be a big player here in novice. I've heard sort of mixed things through the vine about him here and there, but from what I witnessed, I think Rooney might be coming for the chip. He was doing air dribbles. He was going for double taps. I mean, he's going to be a mechanical player. He's going to be hard to stop.
We'll have to see. He's going to Frost. So I mean, if there's a team that's gonna have people that are very mechanical like that, it's gonna be Frost and Dan there. So solid pickup there, Rooney going to Frost, and that'll put the Vandals on the clock for what's gonna be their only pick of the draft, because they only have room for one more person on the roster. 1141 and below available for them.
1140 and below, and there's still some names on here notable from last season. You got one of them you named, Chunk Light. I don't know much about him. Not Charlie Boy. I saw him a couple times last season back up B. You got Ben Ven, Z Verns, Crispy, still all names from last season that can perform and have performed before. So there's definitely a lot of options to choose in that low MMR category.
And there we go. The pick is in. They're going with Chunk Light, who I think, like I said, I think that's a great pick there. He was on my draft board for sure if I had a chance. But Chunk Light, he's gonna go over to the Vandals. I think it's a great spot for him. Congratulations, Chunk Light, going to the Vandals there. Another perennial playoff team. So they've made some runs, and see if they can make another one with Chunk Light now on the roster. As now up next is going to be the Ninjas. So Speed and Psycho, you guys got a little bit of decision making to
Oh,
do here.
decision making is
We pretty much made it. I think we pretty much made
yeah,
it.
it's been made.
It's a solid pick.
It's been tough. It's a solid pick. This man's has been in the league for a few seasons now. And he always plays a very important role in each team. He's always there. So we did decide we're gonna go down to Z Verns, and he's going to end up rounding out our roster to occupy Muffin, Outcast, and Penguin. So that's the Ninjas roster this season.
All right. Well, there you go. Congrats to Z Verns making it back in the league here for the upcoming season, and gonna find his way to the ninjas there, and that is definitely exciting for Zeverns, formerly a Genesis player. I know for I believe a couple seasons actually. So good to see him find another home. And now we're kind of getting to the point here. I just want to clarify to everybody as we go, and hopefully Squirrel will be able to adjust on the fly here. Probably we can skip the names, but now that we're heading into the second round, we're starting to get to the point where teams have full rosters, so any extra picks that they have, they don't get to use them here in the draft. So we're going to kind of be skipping around a little bit down the draft board. So hopefully Squirrel is prepared for that. So Diffusion is up here at pick 26, but 27 there, which I'd have to look at the stream. I don't know who was 27 before, but they're not on the list anymore. Oh, it's Genesis actually. So Genesis, because they have a full roster, their pick is not going to go through. So I think we can just skip those ones. Squirrel, we could probably just leave them blank and then go to the next picks. So now we're kind of getting down to it here. Only the draft. It's been going on for a bit, but there's only a couple more picks remaining here. Realistically, going down the list because you got to fill in those rosters.
Yeah, and just so you're aware, GMs, I know it can be tricky, but make sure you're trying to look ahead and figure out. Like you may say, "Oh, I have pick 40," but it really may be pick 33 with some of these teams that have full rosters already and may have picks in between you. So, we definitely don't want you to get your pick skipped. So do try to keep on top of that, looking forward with these picks, so we can keep things rolling and you're not taken by a shock, not realizing you're on the clock.
That's a great point. And also make sure you do your calculations. Make sure you can fit all these people on your roster. We don't want any more issues like that.
It
I
happens
know
every year, though. It happens
it,
every year.
it does.
At
Some
least
GMs
once.
can't do the math. Yeah, someone always does it. I think we got a little bit of a better system in place this season, so hopefully the mods should catch it first. They're the ones doing basically the GMs are typing it somewhere else, and then the mods are checking to make sure that they can do that. So you have to have enough room to pick at least 1,000 MMR player, and You have to be under cap room as well with all four of your players. So we'll make sure gotta make sure that we're doing that as the next pick comes through, and it is going to be we're dropping to 28 for Frost, or not for Frost, excuse me, Diffusion first. Nitrous Oxide is going another returning player, and then our boy Crispy Waves is coming off the list back to Frost. It appears. I think you're on Frost, right, Crispy? Am I wrong about that?
I was, and then I'm back on.
he was he was
So
he
back
was
at home.
there and he was off, but then he's back. How do you feel about that? Going back to
Eh,
Dan.
it's not too bad. Not now, since I know how the league works and all the people in it. It's not too bad now.
That's good to hear. Congratulations there to you and Nitrous Oxide. Good to see him back in the league. I love that name. I know we talk a lot about names on the stream, but that is one of those names. I love that name. I Nitrous Oxide.
Yeah, and it goes with a cool person. Like Nitrous Oxide's a great dude. He's a dad. He's got several kids. He loves to play Rocket League. He came, I believe, his first season here. He was on the Vikings. So he's got good roots here in Nemesis. What can I say? You come out of the Victory Org and you're a baller. So congratulations to him going to Diffusion. I'm interested to see how that turns out for him. But either way, he's a solid pick and a solid player for the Novice League.
Definitely so good to see him go off the board there, and good to have him back in the league for sure. It's good to see a lot of these new faces and a lot of returning players making their way back for the summer season, which is another contribution to the biggest Nemesis season we've ever had. So very exciting for sure. And it's going to put acceleration on the clock now, as it looks like they still have 3 more picks remaining here. They selected DBN earlier, so Poseidon and Poseidon moved over from that Victory org to this Momentum org Speed, and now he's got some decisions to make. What he's going to do with his roster? He's already got a high player. We'll see. I wonder what you think he's going to actually end up doing here. If he's going to go low or middle, or I don't know.
Well, with a lot of the teams, filled or only have one spot left, and most of those one spots requiring a lower MMR player, he has a lot to choose from with what's left. He can kind of really almost kind of pinpoint exactly who he wants and get his MMR cap space pretty close to probably zero at this point, with just how many little picks are left. So He could really go anyway. He could go another high MMR player. You could see him go middle tier or even bottom low if maybe DBN has a player in mind that he wants to play with. They can really kind of go with anything at this moment.
Yeah, and it looks like the pick is in as well as you were talking about that. Iroza? Is that how you say that? Iroza
I think
there
so.
coming in for acceleration there. I didn't see where he was on the list. I think the
He's
mods are sweeping.
1202, I believe I saw.
At 1201, close. You were
1201.
that was really good. That was really close there.
I didn't know how to
1201 going
pronounce a
acceleration.
name, so I didn't call it. I saw it come in, but I figured I'd
Uh,
let someone else take it because I wasn't going to be the one to mess it up.
Hey, that is the one. That is the one art of casting. You gotta know how to pronounce these names. I know you guys have been around a bit, but some of these names are tough. I will say, sometimes those best names, in the novice league, when you kind of get down to the end here, that's where they start to get you. You get those good names, or at least be able to pronounce them, and then hey, then maybe you get drafted. I'm just throwing it out there. It's always good to have a good name as well.
That's true. Some people have been drafted before in the novice league solely based on their name. Didn't know anything about it. I think Bagels. What was it? What was that?
Yeah.
A couple seasons ago, Bagels got
Ooh.
who did he get? Bob
Oh, yeah.
Woggle.
Yeah,
Bob
season
Wow.
5.
Woggle. He
Season
straight
5.
stole it from North. That's one of
Yeah.
North's friends, and he stole it from because his name. He said, "I gotta have it."
That's how it goes sometimes. The novice, it's a lot tougher for those higher GMs to know really what's going on in the novice league at a little bit of a lower MMR. So sometimes you just you take a shot in the dark and you come up with what you come up with.
Now, I don't want to interrupt anything, but I got word from Dan,
Oh, okay. What do you got from
and I
Dan?
and I quote, "Because I confirmed you and still have 1264 MMR cap space."
Oh, so he was sniping the lower MMR first and trying to go back up to the top.
Yep,
Okay,
because people can't draft a player he wants, and
Oh.
he doesn't have to worry about it now.
that's not bad.
That's
Not
that's
bad.
smart. Smart. You got to get those lower MR players, and then because there will be some people that will go undrafted. Unfortunately, there are a lot of great names. I'll talk about that a little bit more once we kind of get closer to the end. But there will be some people that will go undrafted, and they'll go right to the free agent list, and like teams like the Wisps there can pick them up straight away after the draft. But we do actually have a couple picks coming in here. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But that is interesting, Crispy. I'll have to see what Dan's gonna pull out there as Gorgons are gonna go on the clock again, and they're selecting OUG Wolfie with their pick.
Now, I didn't see Wolfie play at all, but I was told to try to look at him for our novice team. Um, um, you know, Davi, Davi, the previous GM of the org that I took over and rebranded. Him and I have always been in talks, try to get him, back to his home. But this is one of the players that Davi has coached. So he did hit me up. He's like, little birdie in my ear, hey, look at these guys. So, obviously, if Davi's coaching them, Davi's, a longstanding Nemesis member as well, and his value, his opinion is always valued. So, I definitely think that's a good pickup, even though I haven't seen him play myself.
Yeah, and we are just about wrapping up round two. So I will say I know there's a lot of people coming in ready for the prospect. The prospect is actually will go pretty quick. I'd have to count how many more picks there are, but it should go pretty quick. There are 13 more picks to be made in the novice league draft. The rounds 3 and 4 always go really quick. As we saw OUG Wolfie go off the board, and then Mr. Silent from the Pawns there going off the board. A great pickup. Love to see that guy. He was one of those guys I was looking at. As one of my picks. Like he was on my board for sure. Good to see him go to the pawns there with Bubbly. So that's the round two for the novice draft. We have 3 and 4, but like I said, there's only 13 picks combined in these last 2 rounds because teams are getting full. So the last 2 rounds will go pretty quick, and then we'll get right into prospects. So if you're a prospect player waiting for your draft, it should be getting going in a couple of minutes here. So stick around for that, and we'll head on over to round number 3 now, and we're going to move down to pick number 36 as Ignite is going to be on the clock now, making their selection.
Looks like Ignite has one spot to fill. They got a 1097 MMR cap space left. 1097.
All gone down, it looks like.
Yeah,
Pug
pugging
on
down.
down. Pug on down. So they still got about eight, 10 options. So curious to see what they go with, but I could see that being, maybe they snipe Pug and they take that high MMR player right off the table. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that BM Matt is down to do.
Yeah, sometimes that's a safe pick. Sometimes this late in the draft, he's already pretty much got his team lined up with old Snipsy, Are You Fluffy, and BM Sus. So he really just needs a round off pick. He's got the room for it. So might as well go for. I could see that being a viable option, going for just the highest thing that you could get. Worst case scenario, your fourth player doesn't work out a couple weeks down the line, and you try and replace him through the FA pool.
Actually, this is a story right here, guys. I've got a story for you on
Uh-oh.
this pick here. As the next pick is in for Cool Socks. He's making his return. He was formerly banned from Nemesis, but he appealed, and we're glad to have him back here. Reformed. It's been a while since we've had him back in the league, but good to have him back. And I actually heard a word, and I'm very surprised he fell this far down. I heard a word that he was going to be the number one overall pick. I heard a word about that, and he is falling all the way down here to 36 on the board. So that is a little bit crazy there.
Yeah, someone memed all over your face, Austin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how
he, he,
gullible
he
are
looked
you,
really
Rocket Man?
he looked really good. I know he's 1,000 MMR, but he looked really good. I didn't say it was going to happen, but I'm just saying I heard word about that. So.
Yeah, and he is good. He's definitely worth more than 1,000 MMR. Even back, I believe in season 3 was when he played with us before. In the novice league, or it might have been season 4, but he was a solid player. He kept up with everybody in the lobby. He was not one of the weak links on the teams that he was on. But he had a little bit of the. There was some issues with the social side of everything, and the banning happened and all that stuff. But we're past that, water under the bridge. Like you said, congratulations to him making it back onto a team. Hopefully he can prove his worth here this season.
Definitely so. And yeah, I know I see a couple people asking about it in chat. So just a reminder for everyone, for all these novices or anyone that's new to this, basically we're skipping over some of these picks for teams that have full rosters. Reminder, you can only have 4 people on your roster. They have to fit under the MMR cap for this season for novice, which is 4711. So the combined MMR of all players on your roster has to fit under that. So some of these teams are full, so that's why we're skipping over their picks. So, like I said, there is only a couple more picks left in the novice draft, and then we're going to get to prospects. So I think we're down to 11 or 10 or 11 more picks left total between round 3 and round 4. So just so everyone is aware there, as Aurora has made their pick here, and Psycho, you may have had a little run in with this guy. I don't want to start beef on stream, but Aurora's going with Squaddles Astro here, who he's a character. He's a character down there at
He
1,000 MMR.
he's a character. I can't say much about it. I made a joke, and then it escalated into what it was, and then there was a pin message, and it gets brought up from time to time. But I don't know the dude. I don't have a personal problem with the dude. I'm happy to see that he made it onto a team. I kind of wish I was a novice so I could farm him, but I'm not. I'm a prospect. So, hopefully he has a great season with Aurora. He's definitely in good hands with GM as his critter and Ultimus Rule as his captain. Both great guys. So, hopefully they can do something with him, and he fits in and has a great season.
I think Rockerman's trying to look into things. Looks like
Yeah, no, I
maybe
think
people got skipped, and we got to
I
look at
I,
things.
I think
What?
I, I think I think the mods may have messed up a little bit. I tried to have them remove the picks that were extra, and they may have removed the Vikings and the Wisps, who were actually supposed to make selections. So
Oh no.
yeah, oh no,
So,
indeed.
so we're gonna try to figure this out, guys. But while Rockerman is busy figuring that out, Crispy Psycho and I will we'll give you a little entertainment here.
Well, hey,
Um,
Crispy,
Yeah,
why don't you tell us a little bit about the TikTok? You've been taking care of the TikTok for Nemesis, and from what I understand, you've been doing a really great job.
I have. I joined the social team about a few weeks back. I've been working on the TikTok side of things, uh, mainly to help me with Nemesis. Obviously, that's the main point, and to help me with my editing to try and get better. As of today, if I can pull up the Nemesis TikTok here, we'll shout it out real quick so all of y'all can go over there and check it out. The Nemesis TikTok is at Nemesis League. no uppercase, no spaces, all one word. And what I've been doing is I've been showcasing all of our players in different leagues and shouting them out for their socials and stuff, just trying to help promote the server and promote everybody else. Uh, Working on a few things. That's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? Com no, confidential. The big word for crispy.
Big words,
Uh,
baby.
Everything's going to be I don't forgot the word again. Just know big things are coming, and we're going to be making some big moves here. Uh, Daydreams is doing TikToks as well. He was asking me for ideas earlier, and I had to brainstorm for a little bit to help him there. But yeah, on that side of things, we're doing pretty good. Yeah, not too bad.
I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm really happy somebody picked that up and started doing that because I know it brings a lot of attention. You mentioned Daydreams. He's also did a YouTube video for us, been doing some YouTube stuff. It's got a lot of attention, so shout out to Daydreams coming in here and really helping Nemesis out, helping Nemesis grow. And I mean, I don't know if we've already mentioned it, but season 7, this is one of our biggest seasons as far as players go. I believe this is the first time we've had all 16 orgs with Novice through Titan. Am I correct in that, Rocker Man?
That is correct.
So yeah, huge season for us. Big shout out to the guys doing that, like yourself, Crispy, Daydreams, and I know I'm gonna miss other ones. Yeah, I just know y'all are the two biggest one. But anybody that's taking care of the social media stuff and staff itself, we got a great staff here in Nemesis. I love it. I love being a part of it, this community. And if you're watching and you're not a part of this community, head on over to Discord. Yeah, this is the draft, but sign up, get in here. You know, a lot of roster change happens in the beginning of the seasons. And just because you're not in the draft doesn't mean that you don't have a chance on getting onto a team and possibly into a TikTok.
There you go. All right, I gotta clarify what's about to happen here for everyone. So yeah, I fixed the error that happened. So the last picks are getting reverted. So Squirrel, you can hide those for now. We're going to the Vikings at 34 here. So the Vikings and the Wisps, they were incorrectly removed. So they have been added back here. They do have picks. We did not lie to them. So the last 3 picks that were made are null. They can. I mean, those teams can still pick them when their turn comes back up. We're going Vikings, Wisps, Ignite, then Crows and Aurora. So some snipes happen. That is unfortunate, but hopefully they'll hopefully use some honorable things. So Vikings are on the clock now, making their pick. We got it sorted in order. Apologies about that, everyone. But things are back and running here, and yeah, we should be good to go from here on out now. I checked it over, so everything should be good now. And yeah, prospect is about to happen in a few minutes. So we've just got about 10 more picks to make in Novice League.
All right. What is Vikings working with? Vikings only have 2 on their roster right now with Flying High and Dones Julio. So they still got 2218 to work with. So they could still get a low 1200 and then round it off with a 1K. So I'm interested to see what they do, if they want to try to go that route or if they're looking to, kind of split that up a little bit with maybe a middle 1100 and a higher 1K, and we'll see what they go with.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
it
gonna
looks
go
like
with hot dog. Hot dog there, Psycho. Unbeatable hot dog. That is a name right there. Apparently, you can't be beaten. So I'd say if that's the case, I think that's a great selection.
I hope you're right about that. I don't know if it's a great selection. I don't know how. I
Well,
think Unbeaten Hot Dog is new here.
yeah.
So hopefully he can live up to his name. He's a Viking now. Congratulations on that, Hot Dog. You just joined the second best org, because the first best org is War Room, obviously,
Oh,
but the second best org is Victory Vikings. Congratulations to you and Dones Julio. Every other org is mid tier. Just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. Every org is great. Every org is great.
I know you got a soft spot for that work, Psychos.
That's
Like,
true.
does it take priority over War Room? I honestly gotta know. Like, are you just
I
saying
bumped
that,
him
or like,
down. I
I
bumped
know,
him
but like,
down.
That's like a
Is
that's
that
like a
just a
second.
courtesy thing, though?
It
Is
is
that
a
That's like
courtesy thing. It is a courtesy thing because eventually I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to the Vikings.
Ooh.
I'm going to go back down to Novice too.
oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Bandwagon?
I was going to say it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things where you got your main team that you root for, and then like if your team gets eliminated, you're like, well, I guess I can cheer for these guys. Not,
Victory Org is just my original home,
yeah.
but I have all of my current um loyalty is with War Room 100%. I would not compromise War Room for Victory Org, but Victory Org is my original home, so much love to them.
You'd probably fold for a 20-piece McNugget.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I'd fall
As long
for
as I got the barbecue and sweet and sour.
Mm.
Ooh.
I like that. I like that. See, this is why you're my AGM.
Yeah.
I like
This
All
mine
is
a
right.
lot
it.
more.
It looks like we're all good. No snipes did happen, so good news. No harm, no foul. L Money is off the board. Defending champion actually, he was on the Spitfires there. Todd's son L Money going to the Wisps there for their pick at 1204 MMR. And I think we're just gonna run through these next pick very quickly because these guys have already been they've pretty much been selected, but now they're getting I guess reselected with now Cool Socks going back to Ignite. Well, back to my previous point from before or whatever. So we're back.
We're back. We're back. L Money, great pick there. Obviously, Ignite selecting Cool Socks once again. I'm assuming Boy Wonder here is gonna for the Crows gonna take back Uppy again, and then Aurora with Squaddle. So those are all great picks. I know we kind of touched on them earlier. But we definitely it's crunch time here. These last couple picks sometimes in a draft can really make or break a team. Um, Towards the end of the draft, sometimes this is where some of those really good sleeper picks come out into play, and you're able to, find a pot of gold with, maybe a player that didn't show up to many tryouts or anything, and then they show up and they're just goated. So sometimes this is where drafts can be made as late in the draft.
Yeah, that's very very true here. Is the next couple picks coming in fast and furious. There is Cool Socks back to Ignite, back up to Crows, and now Aurora's on the clock. We'll see if they go with Squaddle's Aster again. Just gotta wait for him to put it back in there, and then we'll confirm it if that's the case. But that's also one of the things. I guess technically, if they could get a do over here if they didn't actually like that pick, but I would assume they're probably going to go with that pick if they selected it. If they put him in before, I think they'll probably put it back in. So we're waiting on. I think Ventus was helping Critter out with some of these picks tonight, so waiting on Ventus to put that one back in there.
He's
And then
typing.
he's typing. We'll see if he puts it back in
Uh-oh.
there. But yeah, L Money, Hot Dog, Cool Socks, and back of some people going out here in the third round, and there is still a lot of great people still on the board there.
There certainly is on the high level and on the low level. Unfortunately, I don't know too much about the lower level players here. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Rabbit Warren being at 1090, and Pooms is kind of middle of the pack as far as his MMR goes, but he's been with this for a while. He's got good mechanical ability. I've seen him in six mans and previous novice seasons. He's got good mechanical ability, but also somebody that we were considering and ended up not going with in the end was Mr. Marino. The
Yeah.
boys over in the Ninjas, Outcast and Penguin, said that he was really, really fun to play with.
Yeah, no, he was. What was he? I think he's acceleration last year, and I will say he's another very solid person on there. I'm also surprised to see people that were active in the combines. I think for the most part, some of these people haven't been super active. So I just recognize some of them. I know One Pop Shop, their Threat was there. Mikey Ike used to be on Genesis, him and Threat. Your boy Blue was active in our tryouts. Mr. Marino was at the combines. Bond 5 Rice was there. At least those are a couple of names I recognize that are still on that list there that are very solid. We're in the third round here. Some late pickups as Squaddles goes to Aurora and the Chef goes to. I guess the Chef 98 goes to the Kiwis. An interesting name there. He's the 98th Chef. Respect. Respect to him.
The 98 Chef.
Yes.
Also another name that I'm not aware of. don't know too much about that. I don't think I saw him show up to any tryouts, and I don't think he was in the combine either. And with Acceleration's pick, they just came in as well, going with Mondeller, another 1K as well, off the board. And I don't know anything about Mondeller either. I don't know if any of you guys know anything.
Can't say I do.
Unfortunately, I don't either. I feel like he's a new name here. He's got 1,000 MMR. I haven't seen him around in six mans at all. So, hopefully that's a good pick for him. You know, sometimes the people that you don't know show up. That's just what it is.
That's true.
That was
Yeah.
me last season.
There you go. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes there's some, like you said, some diamonds in the rough, if you will, here. As we're getting down to it, there's only 4 more picks left in this round, and then it looks like there's 4 more picks in the last round. So we're getting down to the end here, folks. So Diffusion is on the clock, and they actually have room for anyone on this list on their roster here. They left some cap room open at 1308, so they can literally go anywhere with their pick here.
That's a really good position to be in because the roster that they have is already really solid. Removing Pillow is known in the league. We already touched on nitrous oxide. I think that those two are going to play together. And Cyclone, I believe, is a returning player for Diffusion. So that's solid. You love to see the player retention with 1308. They could technically get a low prospect, but I think. Man, I would love to see One Pop Shop or your boy Blue go on this pick here. One Pop Shop showed up for the Ninjas, and he was a really, really solid player. We just couldn't quite figure out in our draft how to fit him in with one of the top picks. Like we got Muffin Dealer, we were hoping for Icarus, but he just wouldn't have fit for us. But yeah, there's some really good players left.
And there definitely are. And, like I said, I'll talk a little bit more because there will be a few people that don't get selected tonight, unfortunately. But there are still quite a few picks remaining. Like I said, there's about 8 more picks remaining, a couple more players here on the board. So we'll have to see where Diffusion is going to go. They're running down this clock here a little bit here to see who they're selecting. I saw them typing, but we'll have to figure out whether that's gonna come into the chat here and if they're gonna make their selection there. They might be cutting it close here. You get 3 minutes, but you do have a little bit of time. Maybe their pick got sniped there somehow. I don't know who could have got sniped because they have so much MR room, but you never know.
I don't want to cut into anything, but it seems as in the novice chat, um, people are rock paper scissoring for the third pick on some team. I'm not sure, but if you look
What?
in the general too,
What? The rock paper scissoring to get onto a team here. Is that what I'm hearing?
yep, the person that wins gets drafted.
What? That's one way to do it. I heard about picking by names, but I didn't know we were doing rock paper scissors to select people. Now that's a one way to do it here to stake your entire team on a rock paper scissors game. Wow,
Well,
Hey,
it's
what you gotta
novice.
do.
It's novice league.
it is novice.
Even it doesn't matter which pick it is. It's kind of like throwing a coin.
Yeah,
Yeah, get some
it's
novice
like the
moments,
stocks.
novice moment emotes in the chat for that.
Novice moment emos.
Sure.
Let's go.
But you love it. That's the stuff that brings the extra entertainment inside of Nemesis. Is all right. Rock paper scissors. Like let's go. Who wants it? How bad do you want it? And then it just adds a lot to it. And with Diffusion selecting Rabbit Warren, that is a good pick for them. You know, still leaves them 85 cap room. Well, actually, it just changed. That was weird. Leaves them with 139 cap room.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot better because they had over 1,300. But that's definitely a good pick for them. It's a little surprising that they didn't go with a higher MMR player just because they had the cap to do so, and especially with them just saying rock paper scissors. A little weird that they didn't just pick the highest MMR player. But hey, KN, who knows what he has in store here? So we'll see what happens.
AN is a wild card.
He definitely is a wild card. I agree. And so, sorry, I want to cut in here. Gorgon's on the clock. They're going to select Season Rage here. We drop down a little bit because a couple of those teams are already full. So dropping down to the Gorgons there at 46. They're selecting Season Rage, and that's going to put Frost on the clock here. And this is what Crispy said. They have room to go back here. Crispy, got any insight on your potential future teammate here at 1267 remaining?
Well, Dan didn't really say anything. Somebody underneath 1264 though.
Not
Could
sure.
be anybody, honestly.
One Pop Shop is there.
One Pop
And
Shop is there.
at 1264, like you said, could be a possibility.
That's a that's
Oh,
right
and
at the end of it too.
that's a snipe right there. We're calling it there. One Pop Shop going to Frost there. That's a pretty good name too. One Pop Shop.
No joke. Just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it's a great name there. He's going to Frost. Back-to-back finals appearances for them, and looking to keep it going here as we're down to the last pick in round 3, and then there are only 5 more picks in the final round. So Spitfires are going to close out our third round
Spitfires are
here.
full, so actually we
Oh.
are going to head to the 4th round.
All right, well, Spitfires are full, I guess then. Thought I got them all. I made sure that at least everyone had a pick there. So I guess we are gonna. Spitfire's not on the clock. They are full. So yeah, take a look. Feast your eyes on round number 3. We got 5 more picks to go, and as we move to the 4th round and put the whelps on the clock to start things up, I will give a little word from our sponsors. We actually don't have a sponsor right now, not announced yet, but I do want to say for those people who aren't getting drafted here in Novice League, continue to stay active in the Discord. A lot of times, what happens here, especially with teams that don't have a full amount of picks, they'll pick people up, and there'll be a lot of people that are going to go inactive at the beginning of the season here. So you have a good shot to get on rosters. And we are also looking on a different way to get free agents active, with this being our biggest season ever. So make sure you guys stay tuned about that. There may be some I don't want to. I guess it's been talked about a little bit, but something of a free agent league that could be going on for each league in parallel to the actual league play. So uh, more details about that will be coming soon. So just to hold everyone over, there'll still be some time there. So Whelps making their pick though here in this round. They're going to select Mr. Marino, who we were talking about as someone that you know we were expecting to go off the list there.
I definitely expected him to go off the list, and I think that's a great pick. However, the only thing that worries me there is that gives them a 10-14 cap room left. And with no free agent lower than 10-14 and no league lower than Novice for a possible, sub up play if needed, you could see that kind of, giving them an issue maybe here, especially at the start of the season. Definitely could cause some issues if someone isn't able to make it to a game where you're wasting, possible free agent subbing.
That's
I
true. That's
completely agree.
true. Yeah, I agree with that as well. They have put themselves in a quite the precarious position, but looking at the roster, Jeff Masters, Grebsy, Mr. Marino, apart from unfortunate IRL circumstances that pop up from time to time, I think that from what I've heard, all 3 of those players are solid. They're ready to be here. They're ready to play. They probably won't see too many issues out of them. And with 10-14, people are joining all the time in Nemesis, so there's a good chance that somebody can join that's around that cap room, and they'll be able to pick up from the free agency.
Yeah, definitely. So it's always important to stay active, and rosters change, and with this being our biggest season ever, we have to have some free agents. We want to get everyone playing, as many people as we can, but there also has to be a free agent pool in case people leave. So hope everyone understands that. And like I said, I mentioned it in the chat. You got to be active. That's the best way to get on these rosters. So if you guys are staying active, they'll give you your best shot there. As the Crows are going to come in and select Ben Ven there, and the Pawns don't have anyone on the draft board that they can even pick up at the moment. They have 10-22 remaining, so we're going to have to skip their pick as well. So they only have three players, but they have 10-22 remaining. That'll put the Wisps on the clock here for their final pick of the draft, 10-72 and below. And I think they only have one choice actually to pick on that list, which is Last Cast 88, who they are going to select.
Hey, and
They are.
Not a bad selection when it's the only selection you got, right?
True. Not a choice. No choices for them. They get that person. That's what they're gonna like it. So
Well, it looks like either some trades may be made so that some of these teams can fill out the rest of their rosters, or you know, tell your teammates to start recruiting people that aren't inside Nemesis that may fit in the roster because, going into it, especially as the lowest league in Novice and not having a full roster, I don't know. I just feel like personally as a GM that may not be the best scenario um, to have, not having a full team that you can have sub up if needed, especially if you try to run this the full season and try to run into playoffs with that and with no subs allowed at all. So I could see that being a huge issue for some of these teams, and definitely some of them trying to make some moves to get that taken care of.
and we'll see. We'll see what moves are made. We're down to the final 3 picks here. Actually, the Wisps made their selection. Down to the final 2. It's Vikings and then Acceleration at 56 to round it out here. The Vikings are on the clock. They are going to go ahead and they are going to select Pug there, who has been in Nemesis for a little bit there. They're bringing him onto the roster there. So congratulations, Pug, their second to last pick, and that'll put Acceleration on for one final one to round out our Novice League draft.
And I don't know who they're gonna pick. I'm interested to see. I think Pug was a solid pickup by Vikings. Acceleration with 1227. They've got a pretty good little pool to pull from. Refuse Anxiety, Seawall, Royant, Geterson, Bond 5 Rice, It's Time Pooms, and Not Charlie Boy. I know it's Time Pooms and Not Charlie Boy. The rest of them I don't know, but they are middle of the pack as far as their MMR goes, so they got to be decent, I would say.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, they got the room here. We're just gonna see what Poseidon's gonna do. It's gonna be a last pick, and then we'll be getting right into Prospect. Prospect will go a little bit quicker than this one, I will say, because there are a lot more people on roster in Prospect. And the last pick is gonna come through as Refuse Anxiety to close things out there at 1217, which I think is pretty much all the cap room they could use there. So congratulations, Refuse Anxiety. And congratulations to everyone that got selected here in the Novice League draft. We're going to be transitioning to the Prospect draft in just a moment. But like I said, a reminder, anyone who didn't get selected, make sure you guys are active. I know there's a couple really active people on here that didn't get selected, but stay active in the Discord. Keep talking. There will definitely be teams that need subs and probably roster moves that are going to be made probably right after this. I would have to guess. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're still active, and you guys will get a chance to get on a roster. But yeah, anyone got any final words for the Novice League draft before we head into Prospect?
I think I speak for all of novices here. Ready to play.
For sure. I know a lot of people are excited. There was a lot of hype in Novice League about, getting things going and getting ready to play. So yeah, we'll definitely be excited. Any final words from you guys, Speed and Psycho, before we move over to Prospect?
Nah, I'm ready for Prospect. This is our league.
He's
I'm ready.
ready to get things cooking.
I am
Hey,
ready.
I just say congratulations to all the prospects, or excuse me, all the novices that just got drafted. Hope season 7 is as good as season 6 was. Looking forward to doing a little casting for y'all, and yeah, let's let the grind continue.